of loneliness and misery and suffering and unhappiness, and it's all over much too quickly. The question is, have I learned anything about life?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Essence of Zen After Dark. I'm your host, Zane Zunokami Blaylock, and I'm joined by my studious co-host, that of Louis, that Mexican with a K, or AKA, again, Louis Sando with the Lambo, who will show you how to hit the cash notes. I don't know. Sandoval. Louis, how the hell are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing well too. Some of the listeners and viewers, if you're watching the video version of the podcast, which you can find at youtube.com/essence of Zen, may realize that the episode distance between 2 and 3 is a bit long. I apologize for that. My personal life kind of got a little hectic with it, my day job. And tax season is coming up, and it's been kind of difficult trying to get every single document, which, reminder, tax season's coming up, or is currently going on. You know, get your taxes in early or as soon as you can. Get that income tax back along with that nice juicy stimmy. You got your tax stuff figured out, Louis?
Yeah. I think I did mine in February. Yeah.
Put me to shame. But aside from that, I'm doing all right. We're back here, episode 3, season 2, episode 3. And as you can probably tell from what's on my desk, for those who are watching the video version of the podcast, I got a bit of a heavy topic later in the show today. But let's actually start out with a bit of bright, quick, early news. As biased as I am, which you can probably tell by the thing on my wall behind me, Snyder Cut released, and I absolutely loved it. Not a perfect movie. No, most movies are not perfect, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Spoiler alert: I give it a solid 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 at its worst, 8 out of 10 at its best. Personal opinion. I will probably be doing another conversation piece sometime in the future with another friend who's also movie buff. I claim myself as a movie buff, but I'm a noob. I like movies. It is what it is. So stay tuned for that. But just congrats to Zack Snyder. Happy that you're able to get your vision out there. You know, with everything said and done, what Warner Brothers choose to do going forward, that's cool. It's whatever. I'm just glad that I got to see the capping off, or at least got to see what the initial or the original plan was for the overarching narrative of what he was trying to do with the DC universe. But hey, it is what it is. We'll see what happens next. I'm stepping away from Marvel. I'm stepping away from DC for a bit just to clean my palette and just get into something a little bit different for a while. If I had to say what is different, I would say Bezos, because that man is not going to be the same after I think fall of this year. Louis, have you heard about this? You heard what Bezos is what they're doing?
Oh yeah. I looked at this topic and I'm like, what? And then I thought about it again, like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember this topic a little bit after reading through the article, but the AWS head is taking over. I remember hearing it as that. Yeah, dang. Well, all right. Not much, I think, is known on why he's stepping down. But I see it as interesting.
I think he's just getting old, man.
I think he's getting old. How old is this Bezos guy?
Let's see, actually. Jeff Bezos' age. Also, not to say that old people can't keep going, but I'm gonna get into it a little bit more of why I think. So he was born January 12th, 1964, which I'm tired because this is after dark. So let me. Oh, I almost said 2012, 2021 minus 1964, 57. So he's almost 60 years old. That's not that old.
I don't think it's that old. I can't really tell because the whole shaved head thing that he's got.
Yeah, but I was looking at his neck, and not again, not to body shame or anything. It's just the neck can give away some age, but also I guess stress, because that man had to have some stressful days in his past.
You said neck, and I can't stop staring at his ex's neck. It's
Yeah,
pretty long.
be sometimes, man. You know. But he out there with
Don't blame me, man. No, just kidding.
the top button undone. So he letting it hang. He letting it, be shown for all. Be proud in that as I call the gobble.
Gobble gobble.
He's a turkey.
So what do you know about this new Andy guys taking over, Andy Jassy, other than like the whole AWS thing?
Not much, man. I didn't even know about the AWS dude was the one taking over. But it makes sense because the AWS is actually doing really well. Last I've checked, last I heard, in terms of services performance and people being happy. Aside from it just also being Amazon owned, but at this point, I'm not surprised. But I did want to say one of the reasons why, or one of the things I think is added to why Bezos is stepping down is, the market is just starting to change. Not drastically, but if you notice, like Elon, man, and the businesses that he's made and is put out there and thriving, that of SpaceX, Tesla, is just growing at an alarming rate. And, Amazon is wanting to compete with SpaceX and future space-related opportunities and endearments. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that regards. But Bezos, for the longest, or within the last decade or so, has pretty much dominated in the market that Amazon moved to, which was online retail. And I don't think they had any major competition in a lot of regards of what they've been doing. And so now that you have them going under new endeavors, new obstacles, new challenges that they want to tackle, Tesla is right there with them. And I think Bezos potentially trying to go along with Elon and compete against this. I think Bezos may have gone like, yeah, I don't have the energy to deal with Elon. The dude is crazy. And I don't want to have to sit here and play the CEO versus CEO game nowadays with him. So let someone else take it. Matter of fact, what's the AWS's dude name?
Andy, crap! I just had to pull it up.
Oh no, it's Jassy.
There you go, Andy Jassy.
I thought Jassy was the first name. Okay, let me.
Nah.
Andy
Jassy.
H. And again, I'm not trying to be discriminatory of the H. I just, oh my goodness, that's quite the double chin in that picture of Andy Jassy. Okay, he was born in 1968, which is, wait a minute. Hold on. Is it? Oh, okay, no. So it's just 4 years after Bezos. Interesting. I mean, that's almost half a decade, so I mean.
Yeah, but he's not too far behind. Let's see what happens to the company under Jassy.
Yeah.
What the leadership is like.
I think they'll be fine, all honest. Oh my god, I have some type of.
I think they'll be fine as well. Amazon's pretty big. They do a lot of cool stuff, and AWS. Well, it's kind of like the secret underbelly that a lot of people don't know of. It's mostly like the tech people that knows about AWS.
And sorry, I had like mustache hair get in my mouth, and I need to shave.
I wonder how much of their income comes from AWS compared to the online sales now. I wonder if it's flipped over now.
I would assume it would have to, because like thinking about Amazon in general, I don't think they make much money because of all like the return practices and they don't, in my opinion, treat their factory workers. Sorry, my cat is looking at me weird, like he wants to jump up on the table. I'm like, you can, buddy, but I guess the laptop's in the way and he's not happy about that. So now he's jumping on the couch. Whatever. But I don't think they treat their factory workers that well or pay them what they should, because they're literally kind of the backbone of how the entirety of Amazon.com works. But that aside, I just think they're funneling profits from other departments of Amazon as a company. The same way that Google does for a lot of its efforts in keeping things like YouTube going. YouTube does not make money. Google just funnels money from other efforts and other branches to keep YouTube going. And I would not be surprised if that also applies to what Amazon does with the online retail versus their other efforts or their other projects in the game space. So
Well, Amazon did start making a profit, I think, a few years ago. I want to say maybe like 2 or 3. Now they're pulling in more because a lot of people are doing online shopping. But YouTube, yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of them making a single a single actual dime in profit. I think it's
yeah.
mostly in the red for them.
Also, yeah, I'm looking at the article that we tied to this. Jeff Bezos has stepped down as Amazon CEO after record smashing 2020, while disclosing its first 100 billion plus sales quarter. And but that a lot of that has to probably do with COVID, though. I would think.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure.
So I
It's a
mean,
lot
like,
easier. Just click a button online.
yeah, and I don't want to get into that whole weeded conversation because I am quite in the same mindset of like you shut down so many local businesses and then you let Amazon keep going and sell the same things that smaller local businesses would sell, but because they're online retail and they also have essential items, you let them continue to sell other like Lewis Rossman states, you're allowed to sell those on Amazon, but a local shop can't sell those. Okay,
It's
sorry
got to
for
be a
the
6-inch though. The spacing between people.
Uh, so many jokes, but I think we're already approaching that line for family friendly. Might have to bleep some of that out actually.
And demonetized. I guess everyone's monetized now. And no, everyone has ads. Everyone has ads. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Actually, to be fair, I do want to eventually open up a Patreon or some other form of monetary option for fans of the show via video, audio only, or the other video content that we put on the YouTube channel. But yeah, getting off of the opening bits into the tech world, man. I think folding phones are really here to stay. I think it was a rough start, but man, have you seen Huawei's new stuff?
No, no, no. I've not. I've actually not kept up a while with the phone stuff. So what is the Huawei Mate 2? Is that what we're talking about?
Mate X2, but yeah. So
Mate X2.
you might remember the Mate X1 or the original Mate X was essentially the opposite of what the Samsung Galaxy Fold was, where the Fold is you fold outwards to get to your larger screen. The Mate was you fold inward, so the flexible screen is already wrapping around the entire phone from the jump, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone had concerns because it's like, hey, your screen is plastic and your screen is always exposed. You're gonna damage that. You're gonna have scratches, not just micro scratches, but some visible scratches simply because it's a plastic screen.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Mate X2, they went, yeah, you're right. The technology is not there yet for a flexible screen to be on the outside at all times because we're just not there yet protective wise. So they took a note from Samsung and they went about a new folding pattern with their own custom hinge, and their trademark secret to the way they have their phone set up is essentially the shape of the phone is a wedge. So the top fold is ever so slightly thinner than the bottom fold. So if you have it unfolded and you turn it to the bottom, you can see a slight wedge. And I got to be real with you. Look-wise, it works. And that's mainly because that wedge allows them to close the phone to a much thinner degree. So it looks more like a uniform design, and the front screen is wider than that of the Z Fold 2. So the phone looks like a normal phone, like a normal chocolate bar phone when closed. And that's hot. That's hot, man. That's. I'm looking at this thing now, and it's like that's hot.
Yeah, I see what you mean now.
Of course, the problem with any Huawei phone right now, and this might change in the coming years, but the whole bad blood between Huawei and the U.S., so you can't get Google services put on the device from the jump, so that makes it very difficult to actually use the device as an American or anyone outside of China. I mean, you can order it still, but flashing and side loading might be still difficult. And the folding portion of the device itself, the software for the folding bit is, at least on the Samsung Galaxy Fold series, they worked with Google to ensure that there was some type of base core lines in Android to support folding. And I don't know if that same type of core library features are going to be on the Huawei because Google services is not the same as Android core libraries. But I'm not sure if Android core libraries for folding devices is still extended to outside parties just yet. I don't know, because it makes no sense to have those core libraries added even to phones that don't fold. So I don't think it's like initially packaged in the default base image of Android, 10, 11, and 12. Because wait, 12's not out yet. I think it's in pre-release, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think 12's here yet. I think it's
Yeah.
11, which is the current newest.
Yeah. So I just don't know, and because of that, I don't recommend anyone go unless you're savvy and you're willing to try to work through it and yada yada yada. Drop the big bucks if you got that money, grab it, test it out. Maybe send me a Mate X2. If you got the funds like that, I would not mind. Get a PO box. I'll hook you. Just hook me. Yeah. But no, I'm interested. I can't wait to see what other companies do for folding screens, and the most upcoming difference will be sliding, extending phones. But even then, I worry because if you have a sliding phone, it just gets wider as the phone extends. Your soft screen is still on the outside exposed. And so that's why I literally think right now, to the best of our technological capabilities, it's best to have it closed with a glass screen on the outside and then your soft, fragile screen on the inside. It's just the best method currently. That doesn't mean stop doing other styles. It just means that's going to be the best method until we have screen technology reach a point where folding screens can be durable enough to not need to be protected. My opinion, at least. Do you still not have any wants of a folding device, Lewis?
I just don't see it yet. I think I just don't see it. I'm still on the wearable train. I think it'll start taking off once it starts going more towards wearables.
That's fair. That is absolutely fair. Matter of fact, people might be curious about because I have more smartwatches than I expected to have, man. Like I started buying smartwatches I think 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a minute. But I started off with, I believe, Asus's ZenWatch. I can't remember which. I think ZenWatch 3. No, actually no. My first smartwatch was the Motorola. What was it? The 360? Was that it?
Not really. Moto 360, yeah.
Yeah, Moto
I think it's
360. I had the second gen version, so I didn't have. No, I think I had the flat tire. I think I had the flat tire. Maybe not. I can't remember. That was my first. I liked it, but it only lasted for about, I think, around 10 hours, 11 hours, so not the full day, and that was depending on certain settings and whatnot. Then I moved to the Asus ZenWatch 3, and that lasted longer. It lasted me over 1 day, so like 1.5 days, which was cool. But still, performance could be sluggish, yada, yada, yada. And I said to myself, you know what, maybe just Android Wear is not the place to be. So then I bought a Samsung Galaxy S2, or Watch S2. And that uses Samsung's Tizen OS. Much better performance. It was quicker, faster, never slowed down. It can last up to 2 to 3 days depending on how I use it. It was phenomenal. It looked nice as well. And I would never get the sliding ring on these watches are just hypnotic. I don't mind Apple's crown technology or the crown handle that turns, but I'm sorry, you can't beat the rotating face. The clicks, the feel, it's nice. So I recently got the I won't say recently. When I bought the Fold 2, I also got the Samsung Galaxy Watch S3, or just 3. I think they dropped the S in the name. I don't naming conventions. I don't keep up with them anymore. I don't care to. It's just crazy. Okay. And I love this thing, man. I think wearables have come a long way, especially I could say quote unquote Android watches, but this isn't Android OS or Wear OS. It's still Tizen. So hey, I'm saying it now. If you have an Android phone and you don't want to get an Apple Watch because you don't get the full features of the Apple Watch on an Android device, I'm still saying you might want to go with a Tizen watch from Samsung. You know, it'll still give you most functionality on the watch, but you won't be able to use things like Samsung Pay. I think. Actually, matter of fact, you might be able to without a Samsung phone. You might be able to, because I think they got rid of the protocol they were using for Samsung Pay and went the standard, or they're going to the standard payment protocol for smart devices. So you won't be able to use your smart device or your Samsung Pay on a card reader strip in the future, which was, I think, is a bad move, because that's the that's the thing that Samsung has going for it: the ability to use a smart pay method without the device you're paying on having like an Android Pay, NFC Pay, or Apple Pay. You could still pay because it could be sent to the card swiping magnet strip. Yeah, okay, Samsung, you make your choices. You know, you're the what? Huawei has smart glass or just glasses? Eyewear too? Monster eyewear too? Okay, that's weird. Okay.
Like the old Google Glass? Is that what you're referring to?
No, I think they're just like shades, like fancy Ray-Ban shades, but just branded Huawei.
Oh, okay.
It's called the Huawei X Gentle Monster Eyewear 2.
Reminds you of those
Sure.
Microsoft ones that existed for a bit. You know what I'm talking about?
No. Wait,
Man, I forget what they're called now.
Wait, these okay? They hold on. I'm sorry. Smart. Oh, they might. Well, hold on. Slowly venture to where other glasses have dared to go by integrating cutting edge technology and high end fashion. The glasses come with a crafted dual zipper case, allowing you to stand out from the crowd and express your new way. So, what is the smart part about it? Oh, okay, yeah, no. They got tap sensors, pinch sensors, diaphragm, a battery. What does it do? Oh, I think it's like headphones. It's like bone conducting.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not that
Yeah,
bad.
gotcha.
Actually,
I
in all
gotcha.
honesty, that's kind of cool. I would not mind if my day-to-day glasses also, just had in the ability to control my phone. That's smart. Like, there's no like augmented reality view or anything. That's still a ways away in terms of being actual feasible or usable in today's society. But yeah, just simple Bluetooth audio. It also depends on how good it sounds. I don't have these. I don't know how well it sounds, but I like the idea actually.
You're talking about smarter sunglasses, not as like all the way smart sunglasses, the visual aspect and everything.
Right.
It's like little buttons.
Which I guess, society has changed so much. Would we consider things like that smart anymore? Because that's kind of the norm now. That's just your average CB student. I won't call them smart. I call them capable. Capable technology.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like if I don't know, for some reason an umbrella has a Bluetooth speaker on it that pairs to your phone, I wouldn't call it a smart umbrella. I'll just call it,
Right.
I don't know,
Capable. And
capable.
let me just also preference when I say it's like a C student, B student. I'm not saying that C students and B students aren't smart. Okay, I'm just it's making an analogy or a comparison for an extreme comparison, just for the sake of getting the point across. Chill out. But yeah, man. I mean, when you have technology like that, quote unquote smart technology, I'm still more. Oh, actually, yeah. Thinking about Huawei and having, well, it has a microphone too, because it allows you to use your smart assistant. So just have a microphone. I don't know if I would trust Huawei with the microphone in my glasses. And again, not to say anything about Huawei specifically, I don't trust Amazon with their microphone devices. And I have Alexandra's in my place of living. So that says something more about me than, I'm a hypocrite.
ALEXA.
Yeah. Have you seen the Saturday Night Live skit about old people?
I don't think I
And
have.
it's essentially the bit is Amazon made you know who device dedicated to the elderly because they might forget the actual name of the device. So it will respond to anything that sounds like its normal name. So they have a bit where Keenan Thompson is dressed up as an old man. He's like, uh, 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 Alexandria, what's the weather like today? And it's like, oh, the weather is like so and so. He's like, I don't know about that. I don't trust you. Um, Amanda, what's a recipe for so and so? And that kind of whole bit. It's really funny. I think people should go look it up and watch it. But I'm just too worried about the social media integrating into the sensitive data of my day-to-day travels. But I think we've spoken a lot about that in the past, haven't we?
Yeah. Anything in particular you're thinking of? A
Um,
particular product?
Facebook, always Facebook, always
Always
Facebook.
Facebook.
It's always Facebook.
Always Facebook.
It's always Facebook, man. And I feel I had a conversation with friends 2 weeks ago, I think, and I because it was about the Oculus and how the new Oculus 2 has like deep integrated Facebook mechanics where you got to sign in to buy the things and yada yada.
Yeah.
I did find out you do not have to use the Facebook integration stuff on the Oculus 2 if you want to use the stuff integrated with something like Steam. But the problem there is you have to tether it to use Steam in your Steam VR stuff. And I don't think it's a simple one-to-one integration. I think there are like some games perform better than others. I'm not sure, but someone in the EOZ Discord community bought an Oculus 2 or Oculus, whatever they call the new untethered snow white, eggshell white Oculus. He's like, yeah, I don't sign in with Facebook. I just tether it and play my Steam games. And I went, okay, that makes it a better argument to purchase for hardcore gamers.
To go or something, I think is what it's called, right?
Oh, let me see.
Oculus Go.
VR untethered.
Request.
I don't know how to spell tethered. What the?
Anyway,
Oculus
yeah,
Quest.
I do remember that. Quest. Okay, so it is a Quest.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's like the same bit with technology has been trying to integrate so much with your personal data and your personal privacy concerns and all this jazz, and it's I want to see why don't the Oculus website show me this actual thing? I don't want to see the games. I want to see the actual device. Give me the actual device. Why? Products. Oculus Quest 2. And now it's taking forever. Oh, there we go.
I think all the original people have left Oculus.
Yes. Yeah.
I believe
And
it's all
sad,
full Facebook.
And see, and again, this is my issue because we talked about in episode 1 about Facebook having to go back to court related to their WhatsApp purchase when they promised not to have WhatsApp stuff integrate with Facebook stuff to keep things separate, so there's no privacy concerns. And then immediately within the last I think couple of months, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to integrate WhatsApp servers into Facebook servers and integrate them into one. It's like you promised not to. And here you go with gaming. So now you got your normal old school. I say old school because our generation is becoming the new old generation. Users on Facebook. You go after the privacy concerned people who use WhatsApp, and even the young folks. I can't believe I just said that, the young folks. I am literally getting old. Next year I'll be approaching 30. Holy moly. Okay, personal crisis aside, you got the younger people who use WhatsApp for private communications now having it integrated with Facebook. So I guarantee you that privacy is out the door. I don't care what Facebook says. Some of your data, some of it is going to be leaked to whatever type of weird selling of personal data that they got going on. And now they're targeting the gaming community where to buy these games through their wireless version, not being tethered, you got to go through Facebook services. And that's the biggest issue. So, okay, well, why not just make a new Facebook account? That's not your normal Facebook account just to buy the games. That's fine, but the problem still stands, not just about privacy anymore, but also just platform performance. If your Facebook account is banned due to being thought to be a bot or something, you also lose access to the games you purchased for the Oculus Quest 2. That's not fun. So I don't know. It's these are the concerns that I have.
I also want to know
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, making another account doesn't stop you sending data to them. It's still collecting data, and to think that like it's actually anonymized, I don't know, unless you have like a Pi-hole server or something as well that blocks all those other ad trackers. It's not. It's gonna be unanonymized once you start visiting other websites with Facebook integration and all those other things that end up de-anonymizing you, and it starts building an individual profile. Then you start seeing ads related onto things that you bought, even though it's supposed to be like a anonymous account.
Yeah. And I guess like for the layman terms of that, to understand how something that says, oh, we're going to send anonymous data to our services so you can't be identified, and how like, how you just said when you visit other things and that anonymized data kind of come together, how that essentially anonymized, is that how you say? I don't know. Okay, tongue
I don't
tied,
know.
twisted words. Yeah, something that makes it not anonymous anymore is essentially, think about it like this: if you yourself are 6 foot tall, you're black, you have long dreadlocks, right? You wear
Huh.
glasses,
Tell
and
me
you
more about this,
have.
man.
Yeah, I'm talking about this ugly person that I know. It's just hideous. He's a monster. Matter of fact, he also has braces. Just horrific. But imagine you have all these details, all these things that describes you. Okay, but then one day you put on gloves, you put on a jacket, you put on your face mask, you put on a hat that hides your long dreadlocks, and you go out. Let's say this person is famous. Let's say this person is hideous, monstrous, but for whatever reason, famous. If you go enough places and say you have to take off your glove to like scan your fingerprint, someone goes, "Oh, this person is 6'3", 6'2". I can tell just because it's hard to hide unless I'm wearing stilettos or some platform boots. I mean, this person is wearing platform boots or stilettos or whatever, But you can tell this person, this mysterious, hideous person who's famous, is 6'2". Then you take off the glove. Okay, I can see that they're black, right? You turn around, they got the hat on, but you can tell they're wearing glasses, right? Over time, enough data is collected to go, I don't know who this is, but there's enough pieces for me to start making better guesses. And then when you take the jacket off, and they can tell how muscular you are as a beast. I'm just gonna flex and stretch real quick, because this mysterious person, might be a little in shape. And one day they get to their car, they get in, they take their face mask off to just relax, and you can tell, oh, they have a mustache, they got braces. Wait a minute, I think I know who that guy is. Oh, that's that cool guy that is the host of that podcast that no one listens to. But I digress. The more places you go, the more data that gets collected, and it creates a pattern. And when someone can deduce that pattern and compare it to, maybe what you did 2 or 3 years ago that wasn't anonymized, they can go, oh yeah, that lines up. It's easy to figure out who that person is because it's not hard. So that's why even if you use a software that says, oh, do you want to opt in or opt out on this anonymous data that can be used, opt out. Always opt out. Just if you want them to take in some feedback on how to improve their product, 9 out of 10 they will have a feedback button that you can click to send them an email or fill out a form. They do not need your anonymous data. Promise you.
The thing is, like, accounts like that, like the burner accounts, quote unquote, it's not the same as a burner phone, because the way people use burner phones is they go to a separate country, or they just get a fake number to use for like one interaction or a few over the course, I don't know, of a month or two, and then the phone number ceases to exist. They don't continue to use that same number for the rest of their life, and keep logging in and imagine that it's not tied back to them. The thing is, the longer you use that fake account, the easier and easier it becomes to track and identify. Oh no, it's the same person, basically.
Yeah, so take that with as you will. I know a lot of people aren't as what's the word, aware, cognizant. I think is the word I'm looking for. Maybe cognizant of their privacy in this new, I say new, but modern internet world. It's important. It's actually really important. And later in the show, we're gonna have a topic that I think will emphasize that on a greater scale about your digital data as well as your physical privacy, and how like they're becoming one in today's day and age. So I just want y'all to be very observant of that if you can. You don't got to be the Edward Snowden level of concern, cognizant, involved in it, but at a point, it's it's more ideal to be in the know rather than out of the know. Even if you're not a tech person, even if you don't work in the tech industry, even if you are the most technological, illiterate person in the world, you use, I'm assuming, I know that may make an ass out of me, I'm assuming you use some form of technology that connects to the internet. Whether it's something you own, whether it's at work, whether it's at like a public service, whether it's just something like Wi-Fi, you use something that connects to the internet at least once in your life, at least. So that will create a digital profile of who you are. Just be aware. That's all I'm asking. Be aware. And apparently all Google is asking is, let me do whatever I want while Australia says no.
What are we referring to right here?
Essentially Google versus Australia, where, Google is like, hey, I don't want to be attached to these laws. I'm trying to find the article because, again, forgot to set the show notes up properly. But I believe it's related to how Google feeds news sites and news results to their search engine and their products, their software products. And
I think you're talking about Facebook still, actually.
No, it's Google as well, because Google said they will pull. Oh yeah, it's Google and Facebook, and Google said they will pull out of Australia if they are going to be forced to follow these rules. Let me say, Australia is battling against Google and Facebook with determination to win against the tech giants' fierce bowling. Wait, is this? Yeah, this might be it. Last month, Google delivered one of the biggest Googlies. Okay.
Googlers.
No, it's Googlies. Googlies or Googlies. I don't know what this Rajiv Sanu is trying to get across there, but against Australia, Google Australia's managing director Melanie Silva told a Senate committee that the proposed legislation would force Google to stop making Google search available in Australia, which, by the way, is I don't think is a fully accurate statement. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison defended the Googly from Google when a straight bat. He said, "We don't respond to threats." Can you get to the actual meat of the problem? Sorry, hold on. Maximizing eyeball traffic to its sites and selling online advertising services to businesses, companies' performance. Can you bring up the not to dump on this article, but that's not. It doesn't bring up the actual legal thing right away.
From what I remember about the thing with Facebook, it was Australia wanted Facebook to pay some sort of link tax for linking news sites over, and Facebook was like, no, that's like ludicrous. That'd be like a stupid amount of money, basically, because everyone's always sharing all sorts of links, news pages, and whatnot. And they said nope, and they eat it out. And then Fred Day. Yeah, the day after, there were just no news pages available on Facebook Australia.
Yeah. And so I guess there's a lot of talk about why this proposed law is put in place and the reasoning behind it. And from when I researched this about 2 weeks ago, because again, we're filming this technically late in our schedule, it was around the concept of they want to support, and I honestly believe it's more than just this, it normally is when it comes to anything political, but they want to support news media and trying to make sure that it gets enough income, money to keep going so it can kind of cut back on trying to be as, clickbaity, very biased and susceptible to a bunch of lobbying, essentially trying to get it so it can make money without it being subject to outside interference. Essentially trying to not make it sell itself to bigger entities. And Google's like, no. Facebook is like, no. And I'm pretty sure other people are kind of like, no. And here's the thing, ideals and stuff aside, the idea itself is not inherently bad, but it is a bit much trying to ask for companies, specifically Google and Facebook and whatnot, to say you have to pay this money to do this thing. equally so, I think Google and Facebook and anyone else who decides that they don't want to do that has the right to pull out. And if they pull out, I think, you would have other people trying to get in and eat it up. Now, last time I checked, I believe Australia said that they would work with Google and Facebook to find like a middle ground to create certain exceptions. And I think they're either decided on a middle ground, or they're still working on it. But that defeats the purpose, in my opinion. If you're gonna go strong with an idea, stick to your guns and hold strong to the idea. If Google falls out, let someone else take their position in Australia. I mean, it's not rocket science, in my opinion. But again,
might be political posturing, just strong arm them, and then kind of like business deals. When you trying to haggle with someone, you lowball them, like, no, I'm not gonna do that, and try to get them somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and that's why I say I think there's a lot more going on, because if that is true, if there is some type of strong arm going on, there's two problems that I see with that. One, it means that they're specifically targeting some type of goal in mind, specifically with Google and potentially specifically with Facebook, right? And then it becomes, it's not about what they said it was, related to trying to make sure the news industry can get some extra form of income to stay afloat without being susceptible to outside parties. Because right now they're doing dealings with two specific outside parties related to news. And then two, they're creating exceptions. So this means if they make a deal with Google and Facebook, specifically for those two companies, but say other companies don't have that middleman agreement, and they're susceptible to the full-on legislation, the law that Australia passes for this link tax, then it's unfair. You have biased rulings put in place only for some, while others get the crap stick. And I have a problem with that, personally. It's a personal opinion. It's a hot take. Take it or leave it. I'm just saying what's on my mind. Ugh.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Sure. Sucks, but what else is sucking right now with Google?
A lot of things, but specifically, I think they're more focused on what are we going to do with our Stadia tech? Because and we talked about this early. I think we talked about it in season 1 of After Dark, right?
I think we did, yeah.
With as much stuff as Google kills, and not to say, because right now Stadia is still continuing, but they just fired, or I'm sorry, they laid off their entire, or they laid off some, and I think moved others from their dedicated first-party studios related to the Google employees who were going to make games specifically for Google Stadia. And they said, hey, we want to focus on keeping the platform running. So we're going to close this entire studio and move some of you all over to different departments and lay off the others, right? And a lot of this is like, partly because of COVID, partly due to different strategies, etc. That studio has not been up for, I think, just a little bit over a year, or a little bit under a year.
See, the fact that they thought a game studio or a game dev studio would work, and then shut it down immediately after the inception of their main platform, makes me think they don't really know what they're doing. Their project manager over there is just crappy, I believe.
Yeah, and okay, I do have confirmation. It was older than a year, but less than 2 years. And also there was people who were laid off, took to online, and they made claims that they didn't know that their studio was going to be closed. They were hired specifically to make games for Stadia. That's what they signed up for. That's what they applied for. That's what they were hired for. And they were not given any early talks or any early indication about the studio being closed. Allegedly, I don't work at Google. I can't say for sure, but allegedly claimed by these employees, they stated that they found out that their job was changing and that some of them would be fired the same day as news outlets and people on Twitter find out once the story ran. That's messed up. I don't care how you shave it. That's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just knowing Google's past. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Stadia's gonna Kick the can here soon. If I had to guess, a year.
Yeah.
I'd say one more year. Meet me here one more year, guys. Remember this episode? One more year. That's what I give them before they close down. I don't know if it's gonna last. I don't know if anybody who's a Stadia. I don't know if many people even know what Stadia is. Everyone's still, uh, I think, probably waiting for a PS5 or the Xbox One or Xbox Series X.
Mm. I mean, yeah, yeah. It's just overly a darn shame. But we'll see in season 3 of After Dark. After a year, if it's been closed down, we will be on camera, or I'll be on camera with the party hat and a little party thing going. We called it, And here's the thing that bothers me. There are reports that Stadia works for a lot of people who have great internet, and that's normally how it's a streaming service. It's a streaming gaming service. It makes sense that you would need good internet. And you got reports of big names like Markiplier from YouTube says that on Google Stadia he has it. He bought early into it, and it has always worked for him without a problem. Some games have a little bit more latency than others, but it's doable. And I was like, okay, that's nice to hear. Of course, you have others who have problems because, again, internet is not consistent across the entire country, let alone the entire world. So, but if you have a product that works, and you come out the gate with a very short beta test, and then you take in full price money for when the service, quote unquote, launches, and then, a lot of the features don't work as promised. You can still play games, but there are a lot of things that were added late. A lot of games that were promised to launch with did not launch at the release date, and etc. And it took a couple of months to fix certain fine-tuned things and whatnot. That's not a solid project. That's not a product that's meant for production. And I would expect that from something like EA, Ubisoft, gaming studio, people who are actually abusing the game industry. But for Google, with as much money as they have, with as much technology they have at their fingertips, and I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not saying that they're infallible. I'm not saying that they have everything going on. But they're Google. They're one of the top big 3 dogs in all forms of conglomerate industries. And for you to pull that mess, no, let the service be free for a solid year to test, for people to figure out what your problem is with this product, and then fix your dang product, and then you can start charging a normal price for it. But man, because I'm gonna feel bad if they cancel this product within a year after they just took a bunch of people's money, because they don't.
The crappy thing too is like you can't resell the games they bought on there. They're kind of just gone forever. They're like you can't resell the games they bought on there. They're kind of just gone forever. They're like platform locked. At least with like PlayStation 5, like it's a bigger market. You could just resell those games.
And that's what's funny about it, because that might, if they do close the game or close the product down, and they don't refund users all the games that they play or that they bought, and they can't access those games anymore. I'm not talking about like I subscribe to the premium edition to the service and therefore I get free games every month or whatever, or access to these games. I'm talking about when they flat out buy a product on the platform, and if they can't get that money back or they can't play that game if and after the product closes, I think there's going to be some type of legal issues. And I promise you, because we've seen it with things like Nintendo and the Joy-Con drift. We've seen it with Cyberpunk and people trying to say that there are legal ramifications for not meeting the advertisements for this game running on products like the Xbox One and the PS4. People are getting wise to, y'all are promising us stuff and then giving us crap. And it's time for us to keep y'all held accountable. So if you're going to literally open yourself up to these legal issues, these legal opportunities, and you're Google, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that front. I think there might be something in their terms and conditions that says like you don't actually own the games, or maybe that you're just buying like a license to play the game or something like that. I suspect some sort of like legalese in there that freezing from that. That's one of the biggest downsides I see. Like, they're not really yours. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't resell the games, but I guess that's maybe not your concern if you got Stadia.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hard to get a stable internet connection as well.
You know, we're not lawyers. And so whatever we say, we're not trying to say this is or this is not the case. At least I'm not. But I wonder whether or not, even if they have some type of legalese that tries to protect themselves from the idea of not having to refund people for purchased games if they close next year, I wonder if there's still some type of legal opening in some state across our country or potentially in other parts of the world that says, like, if you do that, there should still be some form of time. You know, like you can't close your services down to like maybe 5 years if you sold this type of product, you know, online to people, or if there's another legal issue of saying, well, if you're able to close down and have us lose access because we paid for a license, then maybe there is an issue with the value that I paid for that license. You know, if they say, like, if you're able to close this down and close complete access off to that game on your platform product within 1 year of me purchasing it, then the value should not have been $60. The value should have been something much less. And I wonder if that will like stand up in court as an argument to the practices, if and only if Google shuts down Stadia within a short amount of time after today's podcast. You know, like, you know. Because you would think that there's some type of you should get this amount of time out of this product that you paid for. I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to lean more towards the side like the GOG.com does, where they just kind of give you like DRM free game. Like, here you go, man. Here's the game. Do whatever you want with it. It's yours. No DRM. No servers needed for you to start or play if those servers ever crashed or broke down. Well, I mean, besides multiplayer, that's a whole different story.
Yeah. And I think to, I guess, open this up to viewers who may not know like the full, and it's probably more that I don't know, man. Matter of fact, when I speak with Andy, who worked in the gaming industry for a good number of years, I'll ask him more about it, see if he also knows a bit more. But there are different approaches or common approaches to licensing with downloadable games, right? You have like you just said, Lewis, where GOG, good old Galaxy GOG, CD Projekt Red, hilariously enough around Cyberpunk. But when you buy a game, you own it. You can download it, and it's always yours. With Steam, there is DRM. When you buy it, you download it, and to run it, it has to contact Steam services. You can go in Steam offline mode, but I think you're limited to certain aspects when you do that. This has to be some type of, you connect it at least once with this game after downloading it to prove that you have the license for it, and therefore it saves that type of key or a cache on your system to verify that in offline mode or something along those lines. I'm not 100% sure. That's like the second, common trait and the more commonly used across online stores for gaming. Then you just got the flat out DRM where, yeah, you can't play this game unless you are online. And that's not even tied to the platform, such as like, Origin from EA or Uplay from Ubisoft. I mean, you can go in offline mode, still launch your game, and then when your game loads, you click single player and it goes, hey man, I gotta connect online to play single player mode. I'm not trying to play that multiplayer, I know, but you're playing single player mode, man. I gotta check online. I'm sorry, buddy, but this is full DRM, man. I gotta check online. Oh, using a VPN? Nope, turn it off. I need to check online exactly where you are, man, to play this game. Oh, it's infuriating. Wait, why is NordVPN screaming at me? Oh, live update. Okay, never mind. I'll talk to you some other time, NordVPN. Oh, jeez. You know what? Let's go ahead and put in a quick break here for our sponsored message with, today's sponsor is yours truly, Essence of Zen. Okay, editing magic, go.
Wait, hold on. Let me go get some water real quick.
Okay.
Editing magic. Hold on.
If you like superheroes, then I highly recommend you check out our series Behind the League, which covers various different superheroes tied to the DC universe. We've created 3 videos so far, but we're back in the mix of making new content related to the series. Once season 1 of Behind the League has concluded, we will be working on season 1 of Marvelous Beginnings, which is the Marvel equivalence. So you can check these videos out over at youtube.com/essenceofzen and looking for the Behind the League playlist. So what are you waiting for? Go learn about Icon, Nubia, and Hardware today. Hardware has a very special place in my heart when it comes to Black heroes of DC. It was a somber day when people's data began being harnessed by massive corporations, massive companies, massive conglomerates. When I was young, it didn't always be like that. Now we're in this noir reality where your data's not free, nothing is sacred anymore. Everything is owned. Not by you. Yeah. That's why I choose EOZ for all of my needs. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Oh, right. I'm back.
Okay, editing magic. Let's go. I also did some weird little noir-esque thing. I don't know how I'm gonna edit that as a bit or I'm crazy, Lewis. I'm crazy. Don't lost my damn mind. You know who else has lost their damn mind?
Who?
Elon Musk.
Uh-oh. What is he doing this time?
Oh no, nothing bad. The dude just, I mean, and I gotta say, look, I'm biased. I like Elon Musk. I have issues with some of the decisions that he makes. I have some issues with Tesla, even though I still want a Tesla. But all things considered, I'm a fan of Elon's. Now, Elon has Starlink, which I believe falls under SpaceX, and they're currently running tests. As a matter of fact, if you are a fan of LTT, Linus Tech Tips, because the tips like to touch. They've been testing out Starlink, and I gotta say it looks promising. It does, and I think we talked a little bit about this. I think this season and last season, but the tests are going out, and they're currently getting back some test results, and of course it varies drastically depending on where people are. It's not always consistent and etc. because it's still in alpha. And one thing I will say right now, I appreciate the testing methods that Starlink or SpaceX, whichever, because I'm not sure if it's like Starlink is considered a current subsidiary of that. Oh, you know what? No. Actually, sorry for the tangent, but I believe Elon stated that he's going to at one point break Starlink into its own company or its own subsidiary because he wants to turn that into a public thing, right? But he doesn't want SpaceX to be public because, you know what? I don't fault him. I wouldn't want SpaceX to be public either. But yeah, I think Starlink itself is going to be a turning point for ISP technology and ISP companies in general, and I think it's going to start turning the mold. But my prediction is just that it's going to be a big impact on the industry. But I don't know if it will turn the tides for everybody or if it will one day just fall victim to becoming just like all the ISPs we have today. So, do you have any thoughts about that?
I think it's a unique approach. I don't know if I'll necessarily fall in that same category because Elon's got some other companies on the side which are providing other income. I guess he's not really making a profit off of this yet since it's still in beta. Not a lot of people signed up. He's still testing it. Not sure how well it'll perform on the long run. From what I've heard, it's been doing pretty well. It's when I read the reviews on the Google Play Store for the app that helps you align the signal.
Hmm.
A lot of people from like rural places saying like, "Oh, this is amazing! It's so much better than HughesNet. There's no caps here. I'm actually getting like usable speeds. I can do streaming, yada yada yada." So a lot of people seem to be happy with it. Um, I think it's a game changer, and I don't think it'll fall to that same trap as the other ISPs are hitting. I just think they got a lot more money to play with, and he's also got something else to back in case that thing fails.
Yeah. I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping. And it's because of that specific reason, people in the rural areas who are now able to get decent internet, that I am really all for what Elon is doing with. And let me not just say Elon. Elon and the team at Starlink are doing, because for the longest time, there's not a lot of competitors in the ISP space. You know, if you're a young listener listening to this podcast and you're curious about like what ISP, which is Internet Service Provider, and why this is a big deal, in most areas it's essentially a monopoly or a duopoly, and even then, that duopoly is normally working together to create smaller sections of monopolized areas. And so typically your parents, or if you're an adult listening to this, and you know your area might either have one or maybe two and maybe three options. And if it has multiple options, typically they're not all that different. So this makes it different. You're able to break out of this monopolized, duopolized scam. In all honesty, in my opinion, I'm getting a little biased and personal in that regards. But you're getting out of that hold, and someone is coming in and say, "Hey, we'll help you out." I mean, you still got to pay. It's still a service, yada yada yada. But get rid of that internet cap. It bypasses all of the weird legal issues with like having to lay down copper or fiber, because typically, and this is what Google ran into with Google Fiber. When Google Fiber tried to roll it to neighborhoods, they had to lay down their fiber. When they tried to do that, Comcast, Time Warner, CenturyLink, other ISPs was just like, when you're digging or when you're tying the fiber into the lines or whatever, you're getting near our cables, and that's an issue. We're gonna take it to court about it. And it was weird because Google has the backing and the money to deal with that, but I guess still, you go to court so many times trying to put down fiber, I guess even then it'll still be a drain on your pockets, So they bypass all that. It's satellites. It's like, screw you. You want to own all the line networks under the ground and on your telephone poles? We'll take the sky.
Well, it's a win-win as well for Elon, because he kind of owns part of the chain that deploys it there. If say for instance Comcast wants to do the same thing, they're going to struggle a bit more because they don't have their own rockets. You're going to have to find some third-party vendor unless they invent their own rockets. It's a win-win for Elon here because they get to test their rockets some more, which is their main goal, right? And as a side project, it's like, well, what else can we dump up there? Like, oh, I don't know, let's try internet. It's a win-win for them.
Yo, that might be the reason why Amazon was complaining.
What do you mean?
So when Elon talked about how he has the whole Starlink system has like 3 layers of satellites. You have your first layer, which is, I forget how many meters in above the ozone layer, or like what do they call it? The point at which we escape the escape velocity, and you can get into the satellite system of the Earth. What is that called? If you played Kerbal Space Program, it's one of the things you have to learn how to do, where you get the rocket to a certain point where then you can let loose and you go into orbit without it crashing back down to the planet. I forgot the term for it though. But anyway,
escape velocity.
It is escape velocity, but the point at which escape velocity has to hit to escape the gravitational pull and allow you to just satellite across the globe. But there are different measurements within that range, and so you have one that's closer, one that's further away, one that's further out, and etc. And so Elon said that Starlink has 3 layers. Within first range is between this distance, second one is a wider distance, and third is an even wider distance. And Amazon said, hey, we were planning to use distance XYZ. And, I think it's not fair if you get to put your satellites there without taking other people into consideration. And Elon just said, well, you're planning for it. We already have satellites there. So once you get to the point where you can get satellites into orbit, then we'll talk. But I think, Amazon wants to have its space to put stuff up there, because I honestly see Amazon, selling out access to their systems to Comcast, Time Warner sooner than Tesla, personally, because Tesla won't even let you use their charging network for their EVs. So, I mean, they're kind of stingy, which I don't mind. In this case for ISPs, but if SpaceX ever does open up its satellites and services to other companies, as petty as this might sound, as petty as this might be, I want SpaceX and Starlinks to rake them over the coals. I want them to just shove them so far up a bill where they know how it feels to be exploited for a goddamn service. That's how I feel.
Careful what you wish for.
Oh, you can point that.
And I'm just saying, like, Elon gets hit by a truck tomorrow, someone else steps in. It's like, Nega Elon or something. It's complete opposite.
Oh, good point. And actually, even if Elon is still the one in charge, and they do give like egregious price ranges for Comcast and whatnot, Comcast will probably just push that spending off to their copper cable users and increase internet prices. Oh, actually, never mind. That sucks.
Press F in chat for copper users.
Like myself, I used to have AT&T fiber at my old apartment, and I loved it. In all honesty, AT&T, I mean, reasonable price, buku speeds, no cap. Oh my goodness, I was surprised. But I moved, and this location only has Comcast, and I'm not a fan of Comcast. If you listen to Comcast, I don't care. I've had a lot of bad experience with you, and the only reason why I have you is because you're literally the only service that I can get at this apartment. Yeah. I guess other SpaceX news, I don't have the link for the actual article where I read this, but I'm pretty sure most people who are following Tesla and Elon and SpaceX and whatnot notice there were a few explosions from them testing rockets, and one of them was a big issue because they ran a test without informing the particular legal guidelines, saying we're going to have a test, and it broke protocol, and I think it's going to open them up to some type of legal issues that they're currently figuring out. But the most recent rocket exploded after it touched back down and landed successfully, so they're trying to figure out why that happened. I think Elon did a tweet explaining what happened, but I've been bouncing away from Twitter for a long time now, so I don't quite know what that explanation was. Sorry. You want to know what else has been going boom, 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 dolos?
Got more explosions. Damn.
I mean,
what's going on now?
You filled me in on this. Kia.
This story. Yeah.
Why don't you fill us in on that one?
Yeah. So Kia Motors, they put out a recall for, I believe it was, I don't have an exact number here actually, a few thousand vehicles. 300,000 vehicles, because they would spontaneously combust. So basically, they put out a statement urging consumers to park a bit away from buildings and to park not in their garage but outside until they got their vehicle patched up. It was for 2012 to 2015 models. One of them was the Kia Sportage, and I was like, I was thinking about getting one of those back in the day. I'm glad I did not now, because that would have not been fun if I was just driving down the road and then, as I was joking with you earlier, it looks like they got a partnership with Samsung, and didn't end very well.
This is kind of funny because there were talks, because apparently a long time rumor at this point, I believe it can be considered true at this point, But Apple is looking to work with a car manufacturing company to make the Apple car, the Apple electric vehicle car.
Mm-hmm.
And allegedly, there was some leaks saying that Apple was talking with Kia. And so, from what I heard, and this is and I got to give a quick shout out to Lou from Unbox Therapy, and from Lou later. I saw it on one of his clips off of YouTube. Apparently, some people from Kia stated that Apple and Kia were in talks, and then Apple pulled out. Now, I'm just saying, this was a couple of about 1 month and a couple of weeks ago that I heard about this news, and I wonder. I wonder if Apple found out about potential issues with certain cars and we're like, you know what, Kia, we're gonna look somewhere else.
No Kia.
No Kia.
No Kia is what they're thinking of. Funny. I'm trying to remember. I remember Kia. Oh, that's right. Hyundai. Hyundai bought out Kia a few years ago, and Kia used to be thought of as cheaper cars, but after Hyundai bought them out, they're getting better and better in quality. Now they hear this news, I'm like, doubt. Maybe 2 steps forward, 1 step back, I think. Yeah.
And it's funny to me because like this isn't even their EV cars yet, because Kia and like Honda, Hyundai, a bunch of other manufacturers and OEMs or whatever are planning out their EV cars, And now I'm quite worried that the battery quality for the Kia EVs might explode too. Let me just say,
says the view in its final form. Go ahead.
I'm not inferring that Kia will have these issues in their future devices, and I'm not putting them out there stating that this will happen, yada yada yada. So Kia, do not try to sue me for slander. I'm just saying, I want a car that won't blow up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You can't take the heat. Don't have your car catch on fire.
Interesting. The word key from the name Kia means to come out. And that certainly is the case with explosions. I guess you could say they lived up to the name.
Yeah. I guess in other car news or EV news, the new Model S Plaid Edition got delayed. And I wonder if this is also going to impact the new Model S in general, because I don't know if you've seen the... have we talked about the weird steering wheel?
No, I don't think we have.
Okay, but so I mean, if you go to Tesla.com now, if you look at their Model S, they have a new refresh. And if you look at the pictures for it, you can see... the new changes to the interior, the exterior.
Oh.
And they have a yoke steering wheel, or steering yoke, because it's not a wheel. It's a yoke. For those who don't know what a yoke is, it's like a pilot or a NASCAR, or not NASCAR, because NASCAR is Western. We're looking for the Formula One, the European race cars. They have a little yoke. It looks like a little fighter jet. Whee! It's squarish. Matter of fact, if you're watching the video podcast, it's pulled up now. But it's looking like a T with little handlebars, and there's no top rim. Again, I don't know why I'm gesturing to the camera. The people who are watching the video can clearly see it. Those who are audio only, imagine a box with handles, and the bottom connects with a T that kind of stops from going left to right, and there's no top round portion. I'm probably not doing it justice description wise. But do you see it, Lewis?
Yeah, no, I see it. It's weird. I don't like it. I mean, I'll have to try it, but at first glance, I don't like it.
I'll be real.
Yeah. Roundabouts probably suck.
and I have heard that in the future there will be ways to have it replaced for this. As a matter of fact, well, there's currently a lot of talks about it now because it's not legal in the States, or it's not legal in most states in the USA. So
Interesting.
there's a lot of conversation saying how they're going to have this actually launch. And in Europe, it's fine. In the same way as in Europe, you're not forced to have your car with side view mirrors, and that in the way that the Cybertruck can just keep it cameras to use for the side view visual. But in America, they go, you can keep the cameras, but you gotta have the side view mirrors as well. You have to. And I kind of agree with the states. I just do. Because if the camera fails while driving, I want a god dang physical backup tooling, you know?
Yeah, it's like iron sights.
Yeah. I don't want a weapon that has a camera that acts as iron sights. I mean, unless the gun turns and you can do like a flip, like in that one movie. I forgot. Was it Wanted? I think it was Wanted. Where Angelina Jolie's character was in a store and she grabbed the main character and was trying to hide in the store aisles, and she couldn't get a good shot on the bad guy, so she turned her gun and the middle of it turned at 90 degree, and she could like bend it around the corner, and it had a screen to see what she was aiming at, so she was able to shoot without it. I think it was Wanted.
Wanted? No, I don't think I've seen that one. But yeah, that's a common thing in the gun community. You'll have your digital sights, like your red dot will use a little coin cell battery, but people forget to change that. It fails on you, whatever. People still got iron sights on them just in case. So kind of see a similar way. Just got your digital thing, and then you got your regular standard mirrors.
Yeah.
No batteries required.
Also, I'm throwing an image in the EOZ text channel on Discord.
Oh yeah, I don't know what the heck that is.
Oh no, I don't think it's a real weapon, and I think it's just for the movie. I'm assuming. I don't know, but that looks like a very movie-esque fancy weapon to me.
Yeah, interesting.
But you can see that the hinges, it'll turn to the point where the front half is literally turned left or right by 90 degrees. So, but
it's weird.
Yeah. But anyway, that's not even the most crazy part related to the Model S refresh. You probably can't tell from the pictures on the Tesla web. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find a Tesla Model S refresh steering yoke. There's another issue. I don't know if you can see, but there are no I forgot what they call them. The sticks. You have one on the left and commonly one on the right in most cars. One for your turn signals, the other for like your windshield wipers.
Yeah. I guess that's what I would call it too, the turn signal stick.
Yeah. So they got rid of so current Teslas have one stick, and it's used for the turn signals. They got rid of them. So you're probably wondering, well, how do I turn on my turn signals? Well, I just put a picture in the Discord. If you look closely, you might be able to see. Let me also do it for the video viewers. On that steering yoke, you can probably see some really faint symbols on the yoke itself, right? Those are assumingly capacitive. We don't know if you have to actually push to trigger, but it seems to be touch. I'm hoping it's at least physically pushed down. The button is on the steering wheel, which are smooth. It's not embossed. It's not raised. It's not like braille. It's flush. But right, you have to literally look to see where your thumbs are and press the damn thing on the steering wheel to activate the damn thing. But that's not even the worst part as well. According to Elon, and this is where I think they're getting kind of crazy. Supposedly, the car will guess when you want to go forward and when you want to go in reverse.
I'm gonna assume this is just like a troll.
I'm hoping. No, I don't know, because he says there's a way to override its decision on the touchscreen. I don't want to have to override it. I want to decide when and where I want to go forward and when and where I want to go back.
I feel like I'd want some sort of manual control for a manual vehicle or for a manual device. Yeah.
This is when I go, Elon, what the hell are you thinking? I'm probably getting kind of loud. My neighbor upstairs is probably going, what the hell is he ranting about?
Oh, there he goes again. Yeah, I don't. This just seems like a weird design choice. Not thinking about like usability here with the turn signals. I feel like we're we're changing too many things at once here.
Yeah,
Maybe like in a second update or something after people get used to the steering wheel. I feel like we changed just too much at once here.
agreed. Absolutely agreed. I don't look again. I love Elon, but I have issues with a lot of his decisions. This or these are some of those decisions.
Yeah, I just think too much changing at once.
Yeah.
Just the electric car itself is a huge change. And now we're changing the standard controls. That's gonna be quite a shock for people.
You know what? I'm not even that bothered because when I get to a point in life, assumingly within the next 2 to 3 years, and I want to buy a Tesla, I'm gonna buy a used Tesla Model S, year 2016 at the least, and I'm not gonna go for one of these models if, excuse me, if this is the case where it doesn't have the stick, and if the car tries to guess whether or not it wants to go forward or back. Because I can tell you right now, as much as AI is improving and advancing, it would never be able to read my mind. If I wanted to go in a parking lot and just go forward, backward, forward, whenever I almost swore, whenever the freak I want to, I want that ability.
I have enough trouble just getting my Google Home to do what I tell it to, or the Alexa.
Ugh. But I digress. We went on a few tangents. We talked about the Apple Car and what they were trying to do with Kia and Hyundai, because like you stated, Hyundai bought Kia. We talked about Apple wanted to do a folding phone. Apparently, their rumors are they're in deep development. We probably won't see one for another year or two. And I think the current rumor suggests that it's going to be like the Razr flip, or the Motorola Razr folding flip phone, or the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. The normal clamshell folding, not like the Huawei Mate X2 or the Samsung Folding 2 or Fold 2. So we'll see next year in time when that occurs. But I guess I'm ready for us to enter the massive topic for today's show. I know it's been long, listeners and viewers. Sorry about that. Tangents. What can we do? Oh, stick to a better schedule, but that's not us. Sorry. So have you heard about the situation related to the mother who tried to blackmail children who were on the cheerleading team to get them kicked off so that her child would have a potential spot to join the cheerleading team?
No, what happened here?
Okay, so fair warning. There's two steps in what this mother did that I think kind of crosses the line to the point where it may make people a little bit sick, a little bit frustrated, and very, very, very angry. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later as we cover this topic. Hold on, let me. So, deep fakes. You know what deep fakes are, right, Lewis? I assume so.
Yeah, those it's basically those fake videos that are made using AI technology. Kind of like what the Wombo app is doing. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I have not, but it sounds amazing because it reminds me of SpongeBob.
I'll show it to you later. But yeah, it's basically what the Wombo app does.
So this is where this topic is about deepfakes, and we talked about this, I believe, in season 1, where we talked about how technology will get to a point that'll make a lot of legal issues very dangerous because people can make a lot of fake videos or fake things. And I think I brought up how Jordan Peele, from the dynamic duo Key and Peele, as well as the director behind Get Out and Us, etc. He did there was a commercial about deepfakes where you hear Obama talking, and there's a video of Obama talking, and then at the end of the commercial or the clip, turns out it was a deepfake that was voiced by Jordan Peele, because Jordan Peele can actually do a really great Obama impersonation, that was generated with deepfake videos and images of former President Barack Obama. And it was to show you that in the future, this might become really dangerous and it's really problematic, or can be. Don't get me wrong, I still love funny videos and funny deepfakes. I love William Dafoe's face on literally anything or anybody. I want more of William Dafoe's face on different things. But it is inevitable that we would see victims who would fall prey to crimes related around deepfakes. Now, it started, and I don't want to diminish the impact of the problem with the following, but one of the biggest issues that we saw was celebrities having their face deep faked implanted onto the sex work industry of videos, sensual entertainment videos, things of The Hub or, Triple X, and I don't mean Vin Diesel's action movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had celebrities having their face put on, put into videos like that. And then that was the start of the problem. And then we started seeing people get revenge on their exes by having random people, not even sensual stars, but like normal people that they knew and had videos of, and they put their faces in these types of sensual videos. And at that point, I think that's a clear violation of your rights, your likeness, etc. We talked about that with like models when it comes to Keanu Reeves and etc. as well, but this is a little bit or far more personal. So people just said it was a matter of time before this would hit some different levels of craziness. So in the link that I gave you, there was a mother who wanted her. She wanted to take revenge out on the cheerleading squad of her daughter's high school or her daughter. I'm assuming it's high school. I know it's not college. I hope it's not middle school. I'm assuming it's high school. It doesn't really matter. Whatever happens, it's still horrible. This mother took some of the cheerleaders on that squad in that school and put them on nefarious images and videos of women who were like smoking, doing drugs, alcohol, doing other, rambunctious things, basically to get them in trouble with the coach and in trouble with the school, because these are children. She then also put these kids' faces on sensual images and videos and sent them around to coaches, their parents, to school, other parents and whatnot, and said like, "Oh, hey, look what they're doing." And then she proceeded to text the individual cheerleading girls these videos and images, and then also say, "Go kill yourself,"
Mm-hmm.
And of course, she got caught. And the reason why she got caught, she used spoofing technology to spoof her phone number, spoof her identity, but she didn't spoof her IP. So it was only a matter of time before officers were able to triangulate the IP of this mysterious sender to the actual parents who were listed there, and found out that this mother had the same IP as the mysterious sender. And they did some more research, and they did some nice some good detective work that did not involve having to crack into someone's phone or some back doors. So little shot to Congress with that bit there. Sorry, I had to get that out there though. But they were able to find her, and now they're charging her with, or they're taking to court to charge her with various different things. And I don't know, man. Like, personally, I'm already disgusted by the simple act of trying to blackmail children, But I think it gets to an even more sickening stage when you literally put children's face on sensual content and you throw it out into the world. Like, there isn't already an issue that exists around, that topic, and then you're out there trying to. This is the kind of stuff that will have people, especially young individuals, as young as 21, if not a little bit older or below, who may do something stupid, and then they get put on blast and into a entire world to see, and then ridiculed and whatnot, and often it doesn't end well. And so for this mother, she's a mother, to do this is I don't know, man. I legitimately feel immense rage when I hear about this, because maybe I'm wrong for this mentality, because in my mind I'm going, well, at least you could have just stopped at the blackmail of like smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol, right? I mean that's bad too, but something just triggers me, and I mean full on trigger. Whatever you call me, a snowflake, or you say I'm too sensitive in that sense, I don't care. When you go that far, and that it's like, I don't want to say cartoon villainy, but like legitimately levels of fictitious works of villainy, like just pure disgusting evil. And to see that a human being, a mother, and I'm not trying to harp on like just because she's a mom, like a parent, would do that
No,
to
I get
other
what you mean.
children.
Yeah.
That just I'm not even a parent. I can't. But like, oh God.
No, yeah, I get you. There's like this like vibe in the air that, if like mothers would, you think they'd care more about kids, to see one that, blatantly doesn't.
Oh. But yeah, so I'm just with that story. I'm really curious to see, morbidly curious, and not for that particular situation, but just because we're gonna see nothing but more crimes or related to blackmail and false information sprout up from things like this. And we already know like Adobe is creating software that can generate audio differently and from nothing. And
Yeah, the audio stuff's already here. I don't remember if I brought this up before. I might have already. I remember someone made a bot or a website called like Not Jordan Peterson, where you would just punch in like a word or a phrase, hit submit, and it would make an eerily similar AI created voice clip of Jordan Peterson, just using the AI from collecting all his speeches and whatnot. So it's kind of already here. I just think this is just the early phases of it as well for
yeah,
audio.
yeah, man,
I mean, it's kind of already here, but people have been doing it, but like the AI portion of it's gonna ramp up as well, I think.
yeah. Matter of fact, I do remember us talking a bit about it because I believe the topic for that was the fact that scamming calls would call you to have you say like hello and answer these questions, not just to get your information, but to also use your voice as seeding material for the machine learning algorithms to be able to use that audio to make automatic generated synthesis.
Hmm.
So, man, I don't know. I feel the kind of way with that story in particular. I would feel less angry with the same type of curiosity on the topic if it wasn't the fact that children were the victims of this. And I should also say that the daughter of the mother who did this, supposedly, allegedly, and I believe her in this case, did not know what her mom was doing. And the girls who were the victims immediately contacted police to handle it. So I'm sure I don't know the state of these kids. I don't, and I don't. I hope it don't get released because their children protect their information. If they got to go to therapy, I would assume so. I hope they seek therapy, even if they do feel okay, just to make sure things mentally is still okay there. Because like just to become a victim out of the blue from some random lady in that regards to like nearly ruining your life in the form of sense something that potentially could have gotten to a state where you could not have disproven it. It's just scary and dangerous. And I don't know, man. Can you imagine like political figures who do horrific stuff, and then those who don't, but someone could take their face and try to make like a weird, scandal with a fake video and a fake audio. It's
I've thought of that. I think the idea that concerns me the most is that there's gonna be probably a lot of sick people making CP with this, just getting pictures of kids online and putting it on like, different bodies.
yeah.
And is that gonna get prosecuted? I don't know. It's not a real kid,
Well,
right? It's
right.
not OG, so to say, right?
Yeah. And
How would that, you know? It sickens
and
me to think about it.
this is like it approaches, and again, this is why I wanted to have like the warning so people who potentially like if this get to a state where you don't want to listen or you don't want to. We're not going to go deeper into this conversation, I promise. But on a bare logic basis, to me, if it is not real, then one should not treat it as real. But in this particular case, I do think there's a difference because you're still using faces of real children, right? And so I think that's where the line gets crossed for me. Remember, I'm not in favor of like the thought of different forms of questionable media, right? You know, art or not. You know, if it's drawn or 3D generated or etc. I'm not a fan of that. I don't condone it, but at the same time, I'm able to say, you know what? At the end of the day, there is no victim there because no one in that area is real. So I can put myself in the point where I don't think about it and I can shut my eyes to it and sleep soundly. But the moment you make real children victims in some form of case with it, I think for me personally, that crosses that line where I have thoughts of like those people should have bad things done to them. You know, like put them in jail and then hopefully more nefarious people will act in their nature, I guess. And that's probably as much as I want to say in that regards, because it may be taken a little bit extreme. But you know what? I think in that regards, I'm okay with that being out there.
It's the extent of what we could say, being limited to the YouTube TLS.
Yeah. I don't know, man, and I hate to like even have this particular topic or anything near this topic on our podcast. It feels like I'm dirtying our work with this topic, but I feel that it's very important to get out there because like you said, this is just the tip, and we're only going to see things potentially get worse. I don't know how soon or how drastic this will get, whether it'll be in our lifetime or the next generation's lifetime or the one after. But because the stuff is out there and it's only going to get worse and technology is going to advance, and we have to have an idea of how to deal with it, how to recognize it, how to potentially find it, and how to separate fiction from reality and, you know, fakeness from, or I guess things from facts, and just, I guess we need to think about that now because in general, fake news and false information is already out there, man. It's.
On topic though,
Mm-hmm.
and actually something that's related to this. Luckily, I remember hearing this a while ago. Microsoft is actually working on a tool to be able to detect what is a deepfake and what is not. So using the same technology to figure out if, like, you know, the way someone's face is moving is natural enough or not. It's high resolution enough by looking at the edges.
You know what? Thank you, Microsoft. You know, as much as I bash Microsoft, I bash Microsoft a lot. They still do a lot of things that I'm all for, and this is one that I can easily get behind. And I would hope that Amazon also throws their hat into the ring. Google, Tesla, SpaceX, other type of machine learning companies, AI companies, and I would love for them to just make. Well, would you want this code to be open source?
I don't know. I certainly think at some point it will become open source because a lot of the software for the deepfakes is open source or is becoming open source. Yeah, I think it's the models that are not. So I think that's the secret sauce that is going to be given up. The source code itself, I believe it's already out there. But this is cool. I see it as a beginning of a never-ending cat and mouse game. The deepfakes are going to get better. Then, you know, the AI detection to detect the deepfakes is going to get better, and it's going to be this constant back and forth, kind of like network security.
Yep. Until Skynet goes, I'm alive now, and I'm going to do both, and you'll never catch up to me. And they're going to start using deepfakes on like hologram generating android bodies to make it look like real people, and that's going to be creepy. Oh, I don't know, but I'm totally down with that, and I'm typically still open for most things becoming open source because, like you say, you know, anything that gets taken from that open source, it becomes a cat and mouse. Someone takes it and does something nefarious with it, and then someone takes it and try to combat that nefarious activity. I just think that this is my personal bias and my personal, you know, emotions and feelings, you know, related to this thought. If having it closed source makes it harder for people to generate ways to work around the detection for it, I start getting to the feeling of like, you know what, maybe that's better. But I don't want to put my name behind that thought 100% wholeheartedly because I believe that same way of thinking, that same logic, is the same practice that is applied to different things that I don't agree with, you know? It's like I don't want to be cherry picking the situations where I think it's viable and when it's not, or when it should be allowed and when it shouldn't. Because who the hell am I to decide stuff like that? I mean, I can have my opinions on it, and I think everyone should have their own opinions on it. But at the end of the day, I think an even playing field is still the best way to go, regardless of the situation. Personally,
we'll see who ends up winning. I think the odds are on the good guy's favor.
Oh yeah, mostly. And again, like that hit that I gave to Congress about like not the investigators and the police did not have to go into cracking phones and back doors to figure out who the perpetrator was. Good work, good actual professional work and effort and detective skills and investigative skills can still get the job done in 95%, if not greater, situations. Always. You can be the most secure villain, and there will still be ways to track you down. But I digress. So. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the good thing they didn't have to invoke the power of the collaborative Borg mind of 4chan.
Oh my god.
The big guns.
Followed by Reddit.
Oh my god. Wall Street bets.
Oh,
combined.
Not to diss nor praise Wall Street bets, but I have to say they were right. They said, hey, the stonks will dip for a good minute, keep holding, and it will rise again, and it did, and it's falling again, and quote unquote, the squeeze has yet to be squoze. So I'm gonna just say that, I like the stonks. So I'm gonna diamond hands, baby, diamond hands. I forgot to dip my phone. Oh, there we go. I'm getting some ink now. I have to write some notes and timestamps for this. So, I mean, are there any other topics you want to bring up before we clock out?
I think we brought up a good couple. I think we're good.
Okay. So yeah, listeners, viewers, I thank you all for sticking around for this long podcast. Sorry it was a bit later than the normal schedule. Sorry for the very heavy topic towards the end there. But yeah, you can find us on Twitter at Essence of Zen or at Essence of Zen After Dark. You can find us on Discord, discord.chat/Essence of Zen, all one word. You can email us. I'll have that in the show notes because I forgot the EOZ After Dark email address because I'm professional. It's what I do. I forget things. But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking around. And I hope the podcast was to a great standard. I do have a particular friend who I hold their opinions very, very dearly. It's a professional guy. One of the most professional people that I know, as well as a fantastic hobbyist. And he's been saying, hey, yeah, the quality's been great. I don't mind the length. I think he would probably think it could be a bit shorter than I think. So yeah, hopefully we just get better. We have these new toolings going on. So far, Craig has not left us. So it seems to be going well. We will see you episode 4 of season 2 actually there might be either, I might consider it a special or just a normal episode. I don't know just yet, of myself with a guest talking about the Snyder Cut. There will also be Snyder Cut related videos on the channel. That's not going to be related to After Dark. And you can expect potentially some special podcast episodes related to certain anime, as well as some content related to certain anime, and maybe some content around Raspberry Pis shortly. So just stay tuned for that. Again, sorry for lack of content. I'm just in a mood where during COVID pandemic isolation, I want to do finished, not perfect, but also not burning myself out trying to get my daytime job and my day life sorted out while also holding true to what we do after dark. So I've been your host, Zane Zonakami Blaylock, joined with my studious co-host, that of Lewis, that Mexican with the K, the Lando Sando with the Lambo, Or sorry, not Lando. Okay, I did it again. I called you Lando. You're not Lando Calrissian. You're Louis Sando with the Lambo Sandoval. We'll see you next time, guys. Until then, drink water, stay safe, and hopefully you're able to get vaccinated. I'll see you later. Take care.
Bye.
Essence of Zen After Dark is a podcast made for and by geeks and nerds for all things geeks and nerd culture. The intro and outro songs were provided by ProLeader, who you can find their music at proleader.bandcamp.com. That's PROLETER.bandcamp, one word, .com. Thank you.